I took a DNA test and discovered I'm 23% related to my husband. Our marriage is now shaken by an unexpected family connection. Original post. Hey everyone, I've known my whole life that I'm a donor. I grew up in New South Wales, and my parents were always open about it, so it was never some big secret. I didn't think much about it beyond that, though, until a couple of years ago when my husband, Corey, and I decided to take an ancestry DNA test. We thought it'd be fun. Maybe I'd find some half-siblings, and he'd learn a bit more about his side of the family. Well, we got the results, and I matched with him, Corey, as a half-sibling. At first, I thought it had to be some kind of mistake, or maybe I misunderstood something, but no. After looking into it, we realized his dad was also a donor, and no one ever told him. Now, here we are, married for years with 2 kids, and we're still trying to figure out how to process the fact that we're siblings. I don't even know how to explain how I feel. It's just overwhelming. I love him, of course, but this changes so much. We've already spoken to a genetic counselor, and we're trying to move forward, but it's like everything we thought we knew about our family has been flipped upside down. I just feel kind of lost. Has anyone else here gone through something like this? I'd really appreciate hearing from anyone who has dealt with something similar, or even just your thoughts. Edit. This blew up much bigger than I intended. I'm going to speak to Corey about family therapy again and sit on this information. We have no interest in going public at this point. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. I think you need some family counseling, first between you and your husband, and then later down the road when you inevitably tell your children. I'm not sure if you're able to take leave from work, but it would be a good idea to look into that, because this is absolutely something you need to process without work distraction. Oh, I'm in therapy myself, but unfortunately, Corey is not open to that right now. He's in a big denial phase and does not wish to talk about it. Commenter 2. I'm so sorry. This was bound to happen somewhere in the world at some point, given the current unregulated fertility industry that puts profits above the rights and interests of the donor-conceived child. If you are up to it and think it would help, I have a few pieces of media to recommend. The Man with 1,000 Kids, a documentary on Netflix. Laura High, a content creator and advocate for DCP on TikTok, Instagram. Multiple books have helped me, such as Inheritance by Danny Shapiro, Brute, and The Lost Family. I have not come across this particular scenario where children were conceived by accidental incest between DCP, but a lot of people have other traumas related to the industry and have explored that. I also understand if you don't want to research the situation. I didn't when I first learned I was DCP by surprise. Talking to someone is important, though. You will be okay. Your kids will be okay. It's super weird and icky that this happened, but it's not your fault. OOP. I've actually seen most of that media and read a couple of books from Australian DCP. I'm lucky to have been told early that I was a donor conceived. It was never a huge factor in my life until now. Update. Thank you so much for all of the responses, support, and advice. I've taken some time to process, and I wanted to provide an update on where we're at. First, I have been in individual therapy and working through everything. It's been incredibly helpful to have a space to just unravel my thoughts. Corey has also told me that he's open to couples therapy, which is a big step for us, and I'm hopeful it will help us navigate this together. To confirm some things, yes, my father-in-law is the donor, which makes him not only Corey's father, but also mine. It was a lot to take in. We're both really angry that Corey's dad never told him the truth, and at the moment, neither of us are talking to him. It's just too much. We've also discovered about 40 other siblings so far, all of whom live nearby. That was another layer of this experience we weren't prepared for. We haven't met them all yet, but knowing they're out there brings its own set of challenges and questions. As for our marriage, no, we're not divorcing. We love each other and are committed to working through this, but we haven't told our children yet. We plan to get professional advice before we do this. This isn't something we want to rush into without understanding the best way to approach it for their sake. I know many of you are part of the donor-conceived community, and I just want to say that while I'm very aware and involved in spaces like We Are Donor-Conceived, and I follow creators like Laura High, Donor Dylan, The Queer Mama, Rachel Strangers, like Meaty, Sunny, Eve, Lucas, etc., I'm not interested in speaking to anyone publicly about our situation. I'm really proud of people like Victoria Hill for going public, but that's not what's best for my family right now. Thanks again for listening, for the advice, and for your understanding. We're taking this one day at a time. Comments. Commenter. So very impressed with you both. This must be such hard work, and my heart goes out to you. As a donor, This is my greatest fear. I was not anonymous by choice. Back in the day, the fertility clinics capitalized on our naivety. Now to the next story. Story 2. Am I the A for snapping at my jealous sister during her engagement party, telling her she'll choke on her jealousy one day? Original post. Hi. I'll try to keep it as short as I can. I promise I'll clarify things if there are confusions, and sorry about them in advance. I'm 21F, and I have 2 siblings. My sister, Flora, is 24 and engaged. My brother, Jason, is 28 and married to my sister-in-law, who is 25. My parents hosted a family luncheon to celebrate Flora's engagement at their house. I went early to help them set up. Jason and my sister-in-law arrived a little bit later than everyone else. Flora and her fiancé arrived last. Everything was going well, and everyone was happy until Flora got a text and pulled me aside. She asked me if I could go outside and meet a friend of hers who's going to drop something off for her. I did. The something was a big ball of pure happiness, a St. Bernard dog with a cute little formal tie around his neck. As adorable as he was, I couldn't bring him in because my sister-in-law is allergic. Her allergy is not severe, but still, everyone in the family knows of it. I told the friend to please wait while I talked to Flora. She did not. I texted Flora that I can't bring him inside. She texted that it was fine to bring it in because it's a surprise, and he's the newest addition to the family. I insisted that I couldn't. Then I texted Jason about it because it had been 10 minutes. I'm standing in the driveway with a big doggy that would not stop licking my legs, not knowing what to do. From what I was told inside, Jason pulled Flora aside and asked her not to bring the dog in, that she knows his wife is allergic. She refused, saying that it's an open space, that sister-in-law will be fine. He then told her the news that sister-in-law is pregnant. I already knew, and they were waiting until she passed her first trimester. Flora then went outside, dragged the dog, and then me. And when I resisted, Jason, seeing this, excused himself and left with sister-in-law. We tried resuming the lunch after that, but it was awkward at best. When Flora and her fiancé cut the cake, she grabbed her glass of champagne to make a toast. The toast was her rambling about how selfish Jason and his wife were, that they couldn't let her have one day to herself and had to ruin and overshadow it, that they were not the first or last couple to get pregnant. Both of my parents tried to shush her, but she was on a roll and went on to call sister-in-law an attention seeker that just had to give the family the first grandchild. I finally had enough and told her that green isn't a good look on her and that she was going to choke on her jealousy one day. Then I got up and left. She called me a B on my way out. My mom called me after and told me that it was a bit harsh, even if she was harsher. She also suggested that the 3 of us siblings talk it out after things settle a bit. My dad is staying neutral. I haven't heard from relatives that were at the lunch. In AITA? Some of OP's comments. Commenter question. Did Flora also know about the pregnancy like you did and pulled the dog stunt to make sure they left instead of making a public announcement, like she would have had the roles been reversed? OOP. Flora had no idea about the pregnancy. None of my family did. The only reason I know is because she got sick from the smell of chili cheese fries when we were having a girls' night in. We kind of just looked at each other, and a light bulb went off in our heads. It wasn't like Flora was purposely excluded or anything, and I can confidently say that Jason and sister-in-law would have never hijacked her day to announce their pregnancy. They were planning their own next month to announce it. I assume that's done with, but maybe we can salvage it with a gender reveal if they're up for it. IDK. OP's mom. OP's sister dragging her out of the house. My mom has always wanted us to talk our issues out because, at the end of the day, you're siblings. But yeah, that being said, I just want to clarify that even though she dragged me, it didn't take much since I have the smallest stature of my siblings, so she didn't use a lot of force. I did call Jason and sister-in-law right after I got home, and they were good, for the most part. They're obviously pissed, but since the news is already out, there's not much that can be done about it. Commenter. She didn't even treat the poor puppy well. The last thing a new puppy needs to deal with is the chaos and overstimulation of a family party. And what did they do with the poor wee bugger while they were cutting the cake and making their pissy speeches? Just leave it outside. Inside to pee in a corner? 'Cause the first few weeks with my pups, they peed with gay abandon every few minutes. OP. I ended up keeping him company before the cake cutting thing went down. But yeah, he's not a puppy. If I were to guess, I would say he's maybe 2 years old. I volunteer at a shelter, but I'm definitely not a pro. Commenter. NTA. But I'm confused about who the dog was actually for. If the sister is engaged, that means she's going to be leaving home. So is it her dog? If she got a dog for her parents, that's weird to get a big dog for somebody as a surprise gift. Or did she just do it to divert the attention onto herself because she already knew the sister-in-law was pregnant? I'm so confused. Oh, the dog is hers and her fiancé's. They both have their own place where the dog will be living, but she brought him to our parents' house to, apparently, introduce him to the family. Mom's words when I asked her about it. Commenter: introduce a full-grown St. Bernard to the family with an allergic member? You can't get much more flying dog fur than that. Surely the introductions could have been made at a better time. Did your mother know she was going to do this? If so, not cool, Mom. OP: I don't think she knew since she and my dad seemed pretty surprised, and then she spent the end of the party looking inside and outside the house for droppings, so IDK. Commenter: what worries me is this person will see her plan pissed everyone off, and she will blame the dog and take it to the pound or, worse, set it free in a remote area. People like this woman are so wrapped up in their own world they have zero self-awareness. OP: I didn't think of that, TBH. Even though I don't think Flora would ever harm a defenseless animal, I'll keep tabs and make sure he's treated well. Commenter info: when you say she is allergic, what do you mean? You say not severely, so not a life-threatening condition, but would she be miserable within seconds? Or is it a little bit uncomfortable? Allergies have very wide ranges. Also, they don't affect a pregnancy at all unless it's life-threatening, of course. The baby won't notice a thing. Oh, OP: I don't think it's within seconds, but she does start sneezing, gets a shortness of breath, and if, and this is an example, I pet a dog and touch her face for whatever reason, her eyes get a bit swollen and puffy. Commenter: I have not read all the comments yet, but what was the fiancé's reaction? Surely he is having second thoughts about marrying your mess of a sister. Oh, OP: he was just kind of standing there, looking awkward as hell, but he didn't seem shocked by her behavior and was standing by her. He even raised his glass. One more clarification. I just want to clarify that they didn't announce their pregnancy at Flora's engagement party. Jason told her, and only her, privately since she was saying no to him asking her not to bring the dog in. As far as I know, they have a cordial relationship, sister and sister-in-law. Not overly friendly, but also not standoffish. It could be that my sister-in-law's whims dictate every event. I'm at almost every family event, some I couldn't attend due to personal reasons, but the ones I have been to, nothing of the sort happened. I do get why it's seen as Jason and I against her, but I just feel like, in this situation, he's justified. I will also be mentioning the deep clean to my parents. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. OOP is voted NTA. Relationship Advice Post Title: My 21F sister 24F keeps jokingly asking me who I'm sleeping with and if I've taken my BC, birth control. This is getting so weird, guys. I made a post on another sub about something that happened with my family at Flora's engagement party. Just of it is, Flora found out my SIL is pregnant and flipped about them and me ruining her day. Since then, has she and I sort of made up? I sent her a text apologizing for what I said, and she accepted it, but we didn't have a proper conversation about any of it. Anyway, since my apology, she asked who I'm seeing at the moment, more importantly, if it's a man or a woman. If it's men, then how many, and if I'm being careful with my BC. I was confused and mildly offended at her acting like I'm the W of Babylon when she knows the only guy I've had sex with is my long-term ex-boyfriend. But whatever, I told her that I just started seeing a woman and that she's not getting a niece or nephew from me anytime soon. Obviously, but it's a joke about my dad who used to warn both us and our older brother when we were younger, after every family meeting, that he won't have teen mothers or fathers under his roof. I thought it was her own weird way of checking up on my life, even if she had never done it before, but she literally sends me a message about my BC every couple of days, even though I told her I'm seeing a woman. Not that the woman and I are having sex, but you get biology. I don't know how to approach this. Like, I have zero clue. Advice, please. Some of OP's comments. Commenter: I read the other post. I think she's worried that you'll end up pregnant before her wedding, too. I mean, it came out at her engagement luncheon that your SIL is pregnant, so she already thinks your brother, SGL, is one-upping her. I think she's focused on who else is going to show her up at her wedding. I'm not saying she's right or even sane, but that's the feeling I get. OP. But the thing is that I'm nowhere near a place in my life where I'm even thinking of having a baby. No offense to people who have babies at 21, 22, but I'm not trying to do that. Yeah, accidents can happen, but I'm not sleeping around with men, and even if I was, I would be taking double cautions. Condoms, BC. I think she's miffed that Jason is having the first grandbaby and wants to have the second. IDK, but I'm worried about her behavior, TBH. This isn't healthy or normal. Commenter. Hey sis, you keep asking me about this like it's really important to you. What's going on? OOP. I mean, I will definitely ask her, but I don't want her to get defensive because she perceives me on Jason's side in all of this, which, yes, I'm a little bit guilty of that. Update post. October 24th, 202. 8 days later, 5 weeks from OG post. Hi guys, it's been around a month or so, and TBH, I don't have that much of an update, but a lot of people have been asking me about the doggy, and it's easier than telling people individually, so here it is. First things first, the update on my sibling situation. Jason and SDL have gone LC with Flora until they get a proper apology, which hasn't happened yet, but I think it will happen soon. Flora has been talking to my mom about wanting to be in our future nephew/niece's life, so there's that, at least. Also, my SIL is officially out of her first trimester, and she and the baby are healthy and thriving, thankfully. She has been having a bit of a hard time when it comes to smells and pregnancy stuff, but I think that's to be expected. Don't come at me, just from what I've read. We've also been planning a gender reveal party for next month, so we're just focusing on the positive stuff for now. As for Flora and I did send her an apology for how harsh I was with her at the party, and she accepted it and apologized for calling me a B, but it's been so damn weird when it comes to our dynamic, especially since she's suddenly up in my business about who I'm sleeping with, but that's another issue. Now for the awaited update. Barkley. Turns out, the big fluff ball has an adorable bark, one you wouldn't expect when seeing him, hence his name. As some of you predicted, Flora was not up for the massive job that is taking care of AST. Bernard. In a week and a half after the party, she called and asked me to find him another home. I volunteer at a shelter and know a lot of people who would love to adopt. I honestly wanted to keep him myself because I've grown attached, but I live in an apartment, and not only would it be impossible, it would also be cruel to keep him cooped up like that. Luckily, a friend of a friend has the space for him to be happy and safe, and took him in with the promise of letting me see him whenever we're both free. And now I get random pics and videos of Barkley and his element, all happy and bark fighting with the guy's next door neighbor's Yorkie. Don't worry, there's fences between them. So yeah, just wanted to say thank you guys for all the advice and opinions. I appreciate all of you. Some of OP's comments. Commenter. I mean, I'm more worried about the other neighbors who have to listen to that, but it seems like things at least worked out for Barkley. OOP. I get your concern, but from what I've seen of the guy's neighborhood, went to check it out and meet him first, it's a lot of families, and most of the kids have pets, cats, dogs, and a parrot. Guys, intel. So it seems like they're used to pet noises. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.